Hello and welcome to another installment of Bird's Eye View Media. Today we will be comparing two mind-bending films, Inception and The Matrix. These two films are often compared because they feature alternate realities. In order to fairly compare these two movies, we're going to look at categories that they both share. In this video's case, these categories will be the quality of the acting, the plot within both of the movies, the visuals, the character development, the supporting character progression, the antagonist of the movie, and ultimately, the climax. One of these movies will win each category, and the movie that wins the majority of the categories will be considered the superior film. The first category will be the quality of the acting. Inception features Leonardo Dicaprio, Marion Cotillard, Ellen Page, Tom Hardy, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. The Matrix features Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Hugo Weaving, and Carrie-Anne Moss. Dicaprio has been nominated 5 times for an Oscar, while Cotillard has won for a French film. Inception has the advantage of being a more character-driven film, while The Matrix leaves most of its characters in awe of their surroundings. Inception requires more of an emotional performance and has the talent to back it up. The next category will be the plot. Both of these movies are very well known for having complex plots that made audiences wonder the first time that they saw them. Inception has an extremely complicated plot. It is so complicated that Ariadne's character basically exists as a form of exposition for the viewer. We learn as she does, and unfortunately, much of the film is spent simply figuring out the way that things work.
We bring the subject into that dream, and they fill it with their subconscious.
What? We were talking for like at least an hour.
Who are the people? How else do you do it?
Never entire areas.
Why not? Is that why you need me to build your dreams?
Yeah, so a totem. You need a small object, potentially heavy, something you can have on you all the time.
But how big do these levels have to be? Why is that so important? Who would want to be stuck in a dream for 10 years?
How could he be trained? Limbo?
Unconstructed dream space.
Well, what the hell is down there?
Just raw, infinite subconscious.
Well, how long can we be stuck there?
The Matrix is also complicated, but simple enough to include a good amount of philosophy and symbolism.
And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
There is no spoon.
The underlying difference between these two films is that in The Matrix, the person who is learning about this new world is the main character. In Inception, it is the supporting character. Neo stays focused on his sense of wonder. We experience everything new alongside him. Cobb takes the role of the teacher, and the movie takes breaks to develop his character through his past. We have less consistency learning of Inception through Ariadne than we do learning of The Matrix through Neo. Inception ultimately includes several small details about its rules, such as how the timing changes in different layers,
5 minutes in the real world gives you an hour in the dream.
how the kick must be performed, and how environments affect the dream world. This forces the viewer to concentrate on a vast array of small details and removes their ability to appreciate deeper meanings of the film. The Matrix has enough intrigue to wow the viewer, but it is easy to grasp once explained. This allows the viewer to notice its philosophy and appreciate its visuals. Therefore, The Matrix has the superior plot. The visuals! Both of these films won Oscars for visual effects. This is difficult to compare because these two films are separated by a decade. Inception features incredible world building and architectural beauty. Inception also includes one of the most interesting sequences with no gravity. The Matrix boasts its effects in combat. The Matrix popularized bullet time, which pops up everywhere. The Matrix also ramps its speed, going from fast motion to very slow motion to emphasize certain movements. The Matrix also features very intricate fight choreography throughout the film. The Matrix has influenced so many films that it would be difficult to go against it in this regard. The development of the main character. The Matrix begins with Neo as an everyday office worker who is involved in hacking on the side. He embarks on a journey where he is shown a new world and gradually learns to free his mind. We join Cobb as someone who is already experienced in his world. He is basically the opposite. He has a complex past full of baggage. The film's progression involves several underlying issues which affect his performance of his present tasks. Neo's arc is all about adaptation. Neo experiences wonder, love, and confidence in his storyline. He progresses consistently in an interesting manner. Cobb's arc is all about moving on. He must work to move past his guilt stemming from the death of his wife. Ariadne functions as his therapist throughout their mission, but Cobb does not notably progress until the climax of the film. Therefore, Neo's development is superior. We see him learning and changing throughout the film, whereas Cobb teaches and deals with his issues without change until the climax. Supporting character progression. Ariadne is really the only supporting character with notable progression in Inception. She begins the film learning all about the process, but begins to unravel Cobb's deep-seated issues with guilt. She finds herself acting as Cobb's virtual therapist throughout their mission. Not only do we see her adapt to her new role with the mission, but we see her make great strides with Cobb. The Matrix features development with both Morpheus and Trinity. Trinity follows a very tired and typical arc in which she falls in love with the protagonist. Morpheus is more interesting and begins with a prophetic view of Neo. Morpheus's progression results with him sacrificing himself for his belief. Although his actions progress, there is not much actual character development. He ends the movie the same as he starts it. Agent Smith actually progresses a bit. He begins as a very concrete program. However, when Morpheus is captured and being interrogated, we see a big shift in Agent Smith. He removes his earpiece and goes on a tangent about how he hates everything about this place. This shows that he is beginning to break free from his programming. All things considered, The Matrix certainly has more notable supporting character development, but Inception has a much deeper development with Ariadne. Ariadne's arc deals with drastically more human emotion than anyone in The Matrix. Because of its depth, this category goes to Inception. The antagonist. The Matrix has a very iconic antagonist in Agent Smith. Smith represents the entire system, the answer to the one. He is very methodical and has the advantage of using the system to track and fight Neo. He is a humongous threat throughout the movie. Neo spends most of the film running from him until the climax when he finally begins to believe. Inception's antagonist is Cobb, specifically Cobb's guilt, which is manifested as Maud. We see Maud on a couple of occasions throughout the movie, especially at the film's climax. Maud seems to manifest at the worst possible moments. It even goes so far as to completely blow the plan when she shoots Fisher. Ultimately, it was Cobb's hesitation to shoot Maud that ruins the mission. Maud then progresses to urge Cobb to stay with her in the false reality that they built together. Cobb's main challenge is to move on from Maud. Cobb's guilt is interesting and is always very present in his mind.
That guilt is always there, reminding me of the truth.
Agent Smith is a much more ominous foe. Maud stands for Cobb's guilt, while Agent Smith stands for an entire system. Cobb is attempting to plant an idea, while Neo is trying to destroy a reality. Naturally, Agent Smith's presence is felt much more throughout, and leads to some truly devastating consequences. This one will have to go to Agent Smith. The climax. Inception's climax is truly epic. After suffering a devastating blow, Cobb goes even deeper. It is here that Cobb is forced to directly face his manifestation of Maud. Ariadne is able to directly guide this interaction. While this is all going on, the timing of the kicks is coming down to the wire. The tension is perfect. Cobb is able to say what he had always wanted to say to Maud. He is able to find closure.
You said you dreamt that we'd grow old together.
But we did. We did, you don't remember.
Fisher opens the safe and the idea is implanted. This is all woven together beautifully. The climax of The Matrix begins with one of the most well-known scenes. Neo is running from Smith, stops, and turns to fight what everyone fears, Agent Smith. The resulting battle is incredible and is surely a spectacle. Neo ultimately defeats Smith, only to be shot by Smith's transference. Neo overcomes his own death and reaches a completely new level of a freed mind. It is clear at this point that Neo is the one. Inception's climax adds more tension due to its importance placed on timing. Everything has to be rushed, but there must also be precision. Cobb has a complete transformation after dealing with a high level of adversity. The Matrix shifts to a very action-heavy tone and showcases some amazing fight choreography, but ultimately lacks the human depth that Cobb undergoes. Trinity does show her love for Neo, but it pales in comparison to Cobb's love for Maud. We see Cobb walk away from Maud's totem, symbolizing that he has moved on. The superior climax rests with Inception. It is justifiable to say that The Matrix is superior to Inception. Most of The Matrix strength comes from its influence on future films, as well as its complicated but not too complicated plot. Inception is an amazing film and is very, very original, but honestly really sacrifices some of the things we would want by simply having to explain itself so consistently. The Matrix comes out on top. Thank you very much for watching. We are very interested in hearing what you guys thought. If you agree or disagree, please leave us a comment and we might even make a follow-up video. If you enjoyed watching this, please consider subscribing to our channel. This lets us know that you would like to see more of this style.
The typical studio in which we film in is The Perch. So join us at The Perch.